What's going on, meatheads? Coach Chandler here, and today I want to discuss one of the most common questions I get regarding the specific type of kettlebell training that I consistently upload here, and that is whether or not they can be utilized for those that want to build muscle instead of just work on increasing their strength while decreasing body fat levels. And the short answer to that is yes. However, it does help when you introduce these 4 rules into the equation and consistently prioritize implementing them as well. So if you're looking to utilize the workouts that I consistently post here in a manner to help you build more muscle, then do yourself a favor and implement these 4 tactics while doing so. Okay, the first step that I would do in order to utilize the specific type of kettlebell training that I do for more muscle building is to utilize the kettlebell circuits that I post as more as a weak point circuit that you do after an added barbell lifting phase. So the way that would work is this. Let's say you have a lower body specific kettlebell circuit that you want to do. Instead of just having that as the exclusive means of your resistance and your workout, before that, add probably 3 to 4 sets of a front squat, back squat, or a deadlift, and do straight sets with that, making sure that you do it with a weight that's going to grab your attention and a rep scheme that is more suitable to hypertrophy, say in between that 8 to as high as 15 rep range. All right, doing that will help dramatically increase overall time under tension and will definitely give your body the stress it needs to, as long as you're following up with the next couple steps that I'm going to introduce to you, definitely help you build more muscle. So step 1, add a specific barbell phase to your training and follow that up with the actual kettlebell circuits. The second step that I would take in order to prioritize hypertrophy with the type of kettlebell specific workouts that I add is to remember that the added barbell phase that you do exclusively before the kettlebell circuits, you need to take that overall nervous system stress and the overall time under tension into account and not overdo it with the kettlebell work itself, all right? Time under tension is very important for muscular growth, hypertrophy. However, you will experience some diminishing returns if you overdo it. So what I would do is this. Hit it hard with the barbell, knowing that you're gonna get plenty of time under tension to work, and the overall motor unit recruitment and the stress you're putting on a ton of muscle fibers with that specific first phase in general will be a large part in helping you build muscle. And that follow-up kettlebell circuit, just keep it simple. Don't go probably 5 or 6 exercises with a circuit. Keep it really simple. Maybe just do a push, a pull, and a hinge, or a push, pull, carry, or like a squat, deadlift, and carry. Just keep it simple, all right? Because if you do too much, you have too much time under tension. It could be bad. It could lead to overtraining, and overall understand that too much can be bad because of the law of diminishing returns, all right? You just can't overstress them and expect your body to snap back, especially for you guys out there older than 30 that aren't recovering as fast as you did maybe when you were in your teens or 20s. So step 2, remember, take into account all that stress you put your body under with the barbell movement that you did in phase 1, and don't overdo it with too much time under tension in phase number 2. Step 3 would be to increase your rest periods between sets in both phase 1, your barbell specific phase, as well as phase 2, your kettlebell circuit phase. What this is going to do, transitioning from, let's say, resting 1 to as much as 3 minutes in between each round of circuits or straight sets, into maybe 3 to 4 minutes of rest in between, will give your body time to clear out some of the metabolic waste that's a byproduct of muscular contraction fatigue, and help to adequately refuel itself so that it can naturally and optimally fuel the type of muscular contraction that you need to optimize hypertrophy. All right, so instead of 1 to 3 minutes in between each round of barbell work as well as kettlebell work, think more 3 to maybe even as much as 5 minutes. Trust me, you're still going to maintain that strength, endurance, those benefits, as well as definitely increased time and attention for more size gains. But what you're really going to be doing by increasing your rest periods in between is mitigating that increase in your metabolic rate that makes it harder to get your body into more of a caloric surplus that you need for growth. And that leads me to the next step, which is going to help you increase muscle size while utilizing kettlebell work. All right, step number 4 is really simple. You can't discuss gaining muscle or losing weight without talking about diet. I absolutely hate talking about diet because, well, I love food, and with my specific goal these days of leaning up while maintaining or even building strength, you can't not discuss it because it's so very important. When it comes to shifting gears now from trying to lean up to instead trying to build muscle, you have to completely shift paradigm. When it comes to leaning up, you must be in what's called a caloric deficit. You've got to burn more calories than you consume. The flip of that is true with building muscle. You have to be in a caloric surplus. So a lot of the tactics that I utilize and advise a lot of my clients to utilize that are busy men or just family men and just they no longer have the time to do marathon sessions in the gym and focus all their time, effort, and energy onto a diet won't necessarily blend well with the goal of building muscle. So what I mean by that is this. When I'm trying to lean up, I'm typically utilizing fasting, carb cycling, and low carb work to hit those goals, and that isn't really going to work well for those that are trying to build muscle. As a matter of fact, the opposite is true. You have to kind of go more into what I like to call that bodybuilding style of dieting, which is eating clean from the time you get up to the time you go to bed. And the ultimate goal of that isn't necessarily just cram your face with a ton of calories, because as I mentioned, you need to be in a caloric surplus to facilitate muscle growth, but ideally you want to do it the right way that won't make you just gain gobs of body fat at the same time. Ideally you want to initiate hypertrophy without forcing a lot of fat storage at the same time. So what I tell people to do when the goal is to build muscle without getting too fat, going to like one of those dirty bulking phases, is to kind of taper the amount of carbs that you eat throughout the day, making sure that you have enough to fuel you through your workouts and replenish glycogen stores and keep you in that caloric surplus, but not be so much so in a surplus that you're gaining body fat while building muscle. And the easiest thing for me to advise you to do with that is just kind of, play trial and error and utilize the way your clothes fit as well as what the mirror is telling you as your gauge. You want to see the scale go up, all right, but you don't want to see your waistline expand and you get kind of puffy looking in the process. So what I would suggest, and you can kind of toy with it, like I said, go trial and error, kind of just try it out. For 2 weeks, go and add maybe 250 to 500 calories per day, making sure it's a balanced amount of that. The biggest thing I manipulate over time is honestly more of my carbohydrate intake to help fuel me through that added volume that I'm going to be experiencing with my workouts. But ultimately, you got to know your body best, and you're only going to know your body best by trying different things out. So just at the end of the day, you got to remember, balance and being in a caloric surplus is the must do when it comes to dieting for the specific goal of building muscle. So instead of being in a caloric deficit like you would be when you're trying to lean up, you got to be in that caloric surplus. Here's a little bonus one for you. Number 5, get more quality REM sleep and make sure you stay hydrated. Simple, but damn effective. Trust me. You do those 2 things in conjunction with the others, and you will get jacked as all hell. Hey man, thank you so much for checking out today's video. If you have any further questions about the content here, just fire them off down below. If you enjoyed it and want me to share
more like this that help to inspire new training ideas for you, then do me a solid and hit the thumbs up button so I know you're digging the content I'm hooking you up with here. Subscribe and hit the alert icon so you get notified the instant I post new tips and routines every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And lastly, don't leave without first grabbing your free copy of the Kettlebell Cardio Blueprint that I put together for you by clicking on either the image that you see right over there to the right or on the pin link at the very top of the comment section down below. Appreciate your time, guys. Have a good one. Chandler out.